Well, today we really are harvesting some of our ornamental sweet potatoes, and this is a common question that we get here at the Oklahoma Gardening Studios. Some people have dug their ornamental sweet potatoes and have noticed that they'll actually have sweet potato roots in the ground. And this is true. They actually can produce edible sweet potatoes. Now, these are not bred for eating purposes, so they're not as tasty as a regular potato, but I thought I'd show you them anyway and also give you some tips on harvesting sweet potatoes. Now, in Oklahoma, this is a little bit later than we usually harvest our sweet potatoes. You want to get them out of the ground, either the edible kind or the ornamental kind, before the soil temperature goes below 55 degrees. Now, we haven't had a freeze yet here in Stillwater, and our soil temperatures are still pretty high, so we haven't lost any potatoes yet. Now, if the soil temperatures drop below 55 degrees, this can reduce the quality and the storage time of your sweet potatoes. Now, when you're harvesting them, one of the best things to do is to cut the vines back first, and then go in with your potato fork and start to dig them. And that's what we're going to do right now. Now, you want to start out at the edge so you're not going to be accidentally spearing any of those potatoes you might want to eat. Now, the one that I'm harvesting right now is actually margarita, and the color on these is really quite interesting. You know, we have the bright green foliage on the top. And I'm going to have to keep looking for a potato here. Well, here we go. It took me a little while to find one of these. However, there's our nice sweet potato root. Now, if you can compare, our leaf of our margarita, let me get one here, is nice and chartreuse. However, the skin of our sweet potato is actually purple. Now, if we look on the inside of this, you can see that the flesh is actually white. Now, on the back side of this sweet potato, you can see we actually have some cracking going on. And again, we didn't plant this bed to harvest our actual sweet potato roots. We planted it for the tops, and we probably weren't as diligent with our water regime as we should be, and so we developed some cracking in these. Now, another one that I wanted to show you is the sweet potato root from our blackie ornamental sweet potato, and we actually planted these in our vegetable garden about 3 years ago in Oklahoma Gardening. And again, we've got our purple leaves for blackie. We actually have a white fleshed sweet potato. Now, it's not a regular potato, it's a sweet potato, but it looks more like a regular potato, and again, the flesh is also a nice white color. Now, this one I've actually eaten, and it is a little drier than your normal sweet potato. Now, for all sweet potatoes, after you dig them, if you can, try to cure them. And curing means storing them in a temperature from 80 to 90 degrees Fahrenheit for 7 to 10 days with a high humidity of 85 to 90%. And what this does is it helps the potato to kind of heal over any cuts or bruises it might have, and it also helps it to develop a sweeter flavor. And if you cure your sweet potatoes, they'll actually store for you longer than if they're not cured. Now, to actually store your sweet potatoes, you need to store them at a temperature of 55 to 60 degrees because they're a tropical plant. And temperatures below this will actually cause them to start to decay. So remember, you want to store them at 55 to 60 degrees. And again, these are ornamental. However, you could eat them if you wanted to. And also, you might try storing them over the winter and starting slips off of these next spring to put your ornamental sweet potatoes back out in your garden. Now, one final note on these, we had to look quite a while, and some of our roots are actually quite small, but you can get fairly large sweet potatoes out of these if the conditions are right. Now, you may not find the sweet potato roots developed at your own home, especially if the soil is very hard and compact. They may not go ahead and develop, or if the water regime or the light regime hasn't been quite right. But it is kind of fun to look for this. It's kind of like digging for gold. So anyway, you might try checking some of your ornamental sweet potatoes out to see if you can have them for dinner.